Welcome to Trauma Recovery Out Loud, where we talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going in our trauma recovery journeys. Join us and get some insights and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Get
Get the frogs out. Get the frogs out, ladies.
Ribbit. Pardon me.
Fake coughing.
La la la
Okay.
la la la.
Real coughing.
I need to get another bright red lipstick to match you guys. I don't have any more bright red
Come on,
lipstick.
girl. Get with the
My
program.
lips came to the party.
I thought it was
Indeed.
brighten up, but it's not. It's already faded out.
I mean, the one that I'm using is probably the most saturated one I have. It's the
Mhm.
most red.
Yeah, I have a similar one. I'm not wearing it tonight. I actually concocted a curated blend, but here's the what? Super
So,
bright.
Rochelle, you need to get something that brightens up your
Yes.
lips, I guess.
Bring
Yes.
the lips to the party. Now you can do, for you, my dear, I would recommend a warm red or a true red.
Okay.
Also, I have eye makeup on.
Indeed.
You do.
And I'm wearing glasses right now, but I have my light there.
Mhm.
It's not quite blocking out my eyes, but I feel like I still need to take my glasses off. I have eyes. Oh my
The
gosh.
eyes
Blob?
have come to the party.
But are we blobs?
Did you guys bring your eyebrows?
I did.
Yes. Oh, my eyebrows are always present. They're practically black. Very, very dark brown. So they're always here. Whether they want to be or not.
Would they
don't
want
have
to
a
be or
choice.
not?
I'm just going to say, without the stage lights, these are like in person. Oh, hello.
In person, they're hello.
Yes. Well, so right now everything looks sort of normal, homogenized, whatever.
Oh, but the
But-
amount of eyebrow stuff you put on to
Mm-hmm.
be filmed is like, oh, hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
like, she does have features, right? Are there eyebrows there?
Do your eyebrows precede you into the room? They come in before you.
Oh,
Only if she puts enough
Only.
on for them to make that happen.
okay. So, and I've had to concoct some eyebrowage.
Eyebrowage.
This
Oh,
part
eyebrowage.
is like leaving the party entirely, and over here as well. The left eyebrows are like, look, I'm done. Right eyebrows are going, wait, don't leave. So here we are.
Wait, don't leave.
Yeah. This one's telling this one, don't leave.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Michelle, I think you need to turn your
it's-
volume up on your microphone.
it's quite the drama.
That's
Drama.
7 o'clock. Is that better?
And I will just add say a little bit of a foreshadowing in that I have become very much aware of this and mindful of the fact that I'm going to have to do something
Egregious
about my
name drop.
eyebrows.
Egregious. Wait. Egregious podcast title drop. Turn it up a little more, Rochelle.
I just love that you use the word egregious. That's making me very happy.
All right,
Steven. Go ahead, Rochelle.
I'm at 3 o'clock now.
Okay, that's better.
And your
Okay.
chin is just completely obscured. I don't know if that
Yeah.
matters. She does have a chin.
I don't know
friends.
what's going on with her microphone, but we're just going to roll
Just
with
gonna
it.
pull it down a little. Oh well.
Yeah, maybe go like this a little so it's not like.
Look, there's my chin.
Oh,
It
look,
exists.
you have a chin.
It is there.
Rochelle has a chin. La di da. Ha ha. Rochelle has a chin.
That's so weird.
You're so weird.
True.
all
but
so
you're weirder.
We're all so weird.
We're all
And
so weird.
welcome to the weird.
Welcome to the
And
podcast. It's
the
weird
weird-
here.
It's weird here. That needs to be our subtitle.
I am the lead weirdo, hence the nickname.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, welcome to our second podcast of 2026. Hello. I'm
Hello.
Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
Yeah, Evelyn's always I'm Evelyn Mason. So suave. And I'm like, And Rochelle's like, hee hee, I'm so cute.
Not intentionally, but apparently so.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how suave I was.
Oh, yes. Very, very theater of you.
Oh, yes.
You had that kind of experience. I do not. The only experience I have is just being weird.
Years of experience,
Years.
though.
Gotta go with
Yeah.
what you're good at.
That's right. Anyway, so we're working on a new series about health and wellness.
Yes, we are.
How to live a good, not your best life, because that's overdone. But
Yeah.
how to live a good life
Yes.
during trauma recovery. Frankly, during anything stressful in your life, doesn't
Yeah.
have to be trauma recovery. It could be anything,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So we talked last week about why should I even care about my body and mind? And the conclusions we drew were that basically, I'm doing a recap. That's new.
You're
Oh,
so
okay. Recap. So the conclusions we drew were that basically supporting yourself, supporting your health, supporting yourself with wellness and other things, gives you enough energy to do the work of trauma recovery.
Yes, it replenishes you.
Yeah. So this week we're going to talk about, Evelyn already mentioned it, mindfulness
And awareness.
and awareness, or self-awareness in this case. I'm squinting. Yes, self-awareness. That reminds me of a YouTuber by the name of Dave Wood, or David Wood. He always has a clipboard, and he always does this with his clipboard. When he's like reading things, he doesn't use a computer apparently.
Yes.
So old school.
So
I think he's our age, or close to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna talk about mindfulness and self-awareness because that feels like step 2 in the right direction as far as like what do we do with our newfound knowledge about why it's important to support yourself with good things to have a good life. So why don't we talk about what we mean by mindfulness and self-awareness? Take it away, somebody. It's all you, Rochelle.
Being mindful means, they both kind of mean the same thing. They're definitely related. Self-awareness means knowing yourself, which sounds redundant, but it's
Circular
sort of
definitions.
It's sorely lacking these days. Aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it, aware of yourself and how you operate, understanding yourself to a degree. Not a lot of people have self-awareness, which is kind of difficult to deal with, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And mindfulness is practicing things that help you. How do I say this? Like, it's, I don't know if this is true, but it feels like it's another level of self-awareness, being mindful. Kind of like being aware of your environment, for example. I don't know. I'm not sure how to explain mindfulness. Take it away, Evelyn. Can you explain mindfulness? It's all
You're
you.
on the spot, Evelyn.
It's all you, Fuffanetter.
dang it, I should have prepared ahead of time. Okay, off the cuff. When I think about being mindful, I think about being present.
That's what.
So I know people use that term a lot, but as someone who is always thinking about what I just did or what I'm going to do, for mindfulness, to me, it seems like, okay, I'm in the here and now. What's going on? How do, whether it's I'm mindful of what's going on in my body or the sounds I'm hearing, smells, the people around, the environment, but just like being in the moment is whether or not that's correct.
Yeah.
I feel like definitions about self-awareness and mindfulness are sort of ephemeral. Like it's not.
Ooh, another good word.
Ooh, fancy with the words.
Ephemeral.
Anyway, it's not, I don't feel like it's super concrete. But what I would add to what you guys are saying, a lot of what goes on in our body is under the radar. It's subconscious, right? You don't have to have trauma for this to be true. It's just normal human behavior, normal human functioning for the majority of the processes that go on in your brain to be subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which means that you're not always aware, or mostly not aware, of things that are happening, smells, body feelings, whatever, it's stuff that's just not registering in your conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do have trauma, or you have, things like hurts from the past, self-awareness becomes a thing where you're making an effort to pay attention to what's going on subconsciously.
Yeah.
So for example, being in your body, meaning you're paying attention to how it actually feels.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. It's about how trauma affects you. So for example, there might be a memory that you have in your body. If you're triggered, you might feel pain somewhere in your body that's not caused by anything happening to you. So it's not medical. There's no outside pressures going on. There's nothing making the pain happen, but you're having pain. But you're not aware of the pain. Becoming self-aware means that you're scanning your body,
Mm-hmm.
looking for things like that to pay attention to, because that is a signal. That pain is a signal about a memory. And if you can pay attention to that, and you can become aware of it, and then try to, think about it, go to therapy, find connections, perhaps you could heal from it, or manage it better.
Right. I think it's finding out what's true, what's actually going on. It can spur curiosity, and then, okay, instead of just ignoring it or brushing it off for whatever reason, or just being unaware, now you can do something about it.
Right. So when you have addiction, let's say alcoholism, for example, you're basically not aware of why you're consuming so much alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know why you're doing that necessarily.
Right.
And you're just drinking because you're trying to numb pain or whatever, but you don't know that you're trying to numb pain. You don't know why you're trying to numb pain. So if you become sober and you get into some sort of a program, the program is actually generating self-awareness.
Yes. Yes. And oftentimes people who do enter the program, they think they're coming in because of the addiction, but they're really coming in because of the source of the addiction.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in my mid to late 30s, I watched a lot of that TV show Addiction or something like that. I don't know I can't remember exactly what it was called, but Dr. Drew was in it, and I learned a lot from that show about addiction, and he did say that pretty consistently that once, and it was obviously people who are celebrities. It doesn't really matter though, addiction can affect anybody. He said that once they come in and they go through detox, a lot of them don't understand that. They don't understand the concept that they are about to confront all the emotions they've been suppressing. And it doesn't matter what you're using or what you're doing to be an addict, you're still suppressing emotion. You're not dealing with the real problem. That's just a symptom of the bigger problem.
Right.
And understanding that early on helped me to navigate when our mother was still alive, to at least understand why. Even though nothing ever changed, it helped me to at least understand what was happening.
Right. So there is a person who has a presence on social media. He calls himself the self-aware narcissist.
Oh, yeah.
So diagnosed with narcissistic what is it called? Narcissistic
A
personality.
narcissistic personality disorder,
Right.
NPD.
So what that means is most narcissists, the ones you could actually diagnose, aren't aware of the fact that they have narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that that is what's actually driving the behaviors and the stuff that's causing problems in their life and their relationships, even though they see themselves as the victim of everything.
Yeah.
They have no self-awareness. So this specific person apparently has awareness of the fact that he has narcissism, which is highly unusual.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to, I think that's why it feels so ephemeral. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much that goes into what self-awareness can mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it does play into mindfulness. I think mindfulness is a kind of self-awareness.
Right.
Because Evelyn was mentioning how it's more about being present in the moment. Being in the moment, like
Mm-hmm.
awareness of your body, awareness of your environment, awareness of your internal feelings, awareness of your motivations, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Woo. Got a frog in my throat. I thought we'd get rid of those.
They keep popping back in.
Keep coming back in. Anyway, but mindfulness is deliberate. It's not something that just happens to you. You have to choose to do it
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of staying with the moment.
Right.
Staying with your body, staying with the people you're with. Because it's easy for people like me and you guys to dissociate.
Yes.
And lose track of where you're at, what you're doing, who you're with,
Mhm.
and to be like kind of lost in your own mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you not necessarily fight those things, but you manage those things. That's a word my therapist encouraged me to use today instead of overcome. He said that's too black and white. Manage sounds like a better option.
It sounds
Yeah.
doable too.
Right.
Yeah.
Overcome is like, I don't know about that,
I
but
must
manage.
conquer you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, managing the tendency to dissociate,
Yeah.
managing the tendency to overanalyze, managing the tendency to panic, to have anxiety, etc., requires self-awareness and mindfulness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so how does this play into this idea of taking care of your body, taking care of your mind? Because that's what we're talking about. Like, how do these two things play into that whole idea? I think that's a really good question to explore.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking about, I was thinking about a couple of things. There are chunks of my life that I don't really remember very well. And I was thinking I wonder why, what was going on. And I read an interesting article about how we create memories. And part of creating memories is you're in the moment, you're there. And so it makes this impression. And I realized that I spent chunks of my life overanalyzing either why did I say that? Or, and I've ruined my kids forever and I'm such a crappy mom and I should have said this and I should have said that while I'm driving, or whatever. Or I'm thinking about, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. We've got this payment coming in and I don't know, I don't know how I'm going to. Meanwhile, life is going on, but I'm not there for it.
Right.
And I thought, how sad, and so when I want to create a memory, I go, okay, I need to be here, like Christmas time stuff. I forget what the question was now, Steph. I'm sorry.
How do mindfulness and self-awareness play into living a good life during trauma recovery? Like, we're trying to create a good life by doing things that are helpful, taking medications, exercise,
Right.
diet, going to your doctor.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So what I've noticed is when I've slowed down and been in the moment, my mind can calm down, my mind can settle.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going, like, let's say I'm, well, we do this martial arts, so why not? Let's say I'm in class. And what my mind wants to do is think about, what am I going to do afterwards? You know, I got to make sure I get to bed in time, but I do need to do that text to my daughter, and I don't know what I'm going to say. And, you know, and my mind's just whirling and not able to be there, not able to be present. So just going, okay, I can deal with that later.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I need to be here and I need to be doing this. And it's so good to just, well, the way that I do it is I try to use all the senses. So who's here? What do I smell, see? And then my mind can calm down.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to deal with this stuff later, you know?
Yeah.
But
well, one thing that came to mind while you were talking, at least for myself, is I have really terrible executive functioning. Like, executive functioning is the part of your brain process that manages things you have to do, like taking your medication, etc.
brushing your teeth.
Brushing your teeth, which is
Take a
something I
shower.
struggle with. Take a shower, right? So there are several self-care things that I struggle to remember to do. And it takes a good bit of self-awareness and mindfulness, especially, to either create some sort of way of remembering or set reminders on my phone or set a pattern into place. Or so let's take pills, for example. I think we talked about this before because I feel like I did this before.
I don't know. I know you've done that while we've been talking sometimes. You'd be like, here are my pills.
Yeah, maybe I was. Okay. Well, this is, I got this from a doctor's office. It was like a welcome gift thing. This has these little, removable containers. So historically, I've been really bad at remembering to take medications. And I would need to be taking something and I would just forget. If I was on antibiotic, I might take it for 6 out of 10 days and then forget.
Yeah.
Every day after. So I was taking it more randomly, which isn't great for getting over a bacterial infection.
Right.
And I would just forget, like, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to take my medication. And then instead of taking it for 10 days, I was now taking it for 15 because they tell you to finish your medication, right?
Right.
So I struggled for a long time with remembering to take my medications. So I decided I needed to work on this, and it required some mindfulness. And it took me a while, but I came up with a routine. So on Sunday morning, this is empty. This is Saturday's thing here. And I have my pills sitting here in a basket next to me. This is my seat at the table. So I have a basket here with all my medications in it. And after breakfast, I take the pile of stuff off the top of the basket, set it aside. I pull out all my medications and put them on the table usually to the right or to the left over here.
Yeah.
Pile them over there or in front of me. And one by one. And the other issue is I am terrible at counting. I'm not even kidding. Like, I can't count things. I get lost. I'm counting to 7. I get lost halfway through and forget what I was counting. It's really bad. So, but I found if I say it out loud to myself as I'm counting, it's much easier to keep track.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I have a problem because I have 4 pills of the same pill that I have to take every day. That times 7. Okay. And they're big pills, so I can't get I have tiny little hands. I can't get all of the pills for the week in one hand.
Right.
So what I do is I take this thing, I open up all of the things, including that day's pills. So Sunday is the first one. And one by one, I take each bottle, put a handful in, a little bit in my hand, and I plop them in and I count out loud to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put the lid back on and I stick it in the basket. When I get to the one that has 4 pills per day, I count 4. I count 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Instead of trying to do, what is it, 28?
Yeah.
Okay. And I do that pill bottle by pill bottle, including all of my supplements, until I'm done. And one supplement is a gigantic pill, like this big, goes right on top. Then I close all my lids and I tap it on the table to make sure everything fits.
Yeah.
And then I take my pills for that day and set it aside.
Yeah.
Right? But every day I take the pills out, I dump them on the table because I don't trust myself. I put them on the table, I separate the pills into 3 piles. The 2 of the 4 that I take in the morning, the rest of the actual medications and all the supplements. And I look at each pile to make sure everything's there. Now, I have completely missed an entire week of taking one medication. Even though I went through all that trouble, I still missed it.
Because it didn't make it in?
Because I didn't count it or something. But for the most part, this works.
Right.
It sounds convoluted. It sounds like a mess. But this is the self-awareness, and the self-awareness to know I struggle with counting. I struggle with the executive functioning. And I have to create a system that makes sure that I get every pill in there.
Yeah.
And then the double checking with the separate piles is the mindfulness.
Right.
Being present in the moment, except that it doesn't always work. Sometimes I take the pills and I'm like, oh no.
Did I
take that pill?
Right.
I don't remember.
Well, I think that's where it helps to actually have them, in their own little group. Because I have a similar routine, and I usually do it on Sundays, although I did it today because I had off today. But the same idea. And then I have a certain time that I eat when I eat breakfast. Usually I'm at work when I'm doing this, but, and I have a place where it goes. It's just the whole routine. Because, similar. When I started taking psych meds, for example, so mood stabilizer, that sort of thing. I mean, if I didn't take it, I'd be kind of a mess. And I could tell, I remember one time I didn't even realize I went 2 or 3 days without my antidepressant. I'm like, why am I a mess? And, I had to figure it out. So I thought, okay, I've got to actually figure out a system, kind of like you did. It's something that would actually work. Set timer on the phone, or, so that I remember to take it. And then a backup thing where I can look and see, did I take it? Well, it's not in there. So, because it's funny when it comes to something like that, because you do it so often, you might be remembering yesterday's swallow,
Yeah.
But, figuring that out.
Today, I actually kind of started over the weekend, but I became more aware today, I would say, more self-aware of, especially when I'm dealing with some kind of trauma that's come up in therapy. My proclivity is to isolate. I know we've talked about that at length here on the podcast. And I have realized there's a pattern where if I'm already dealing with normal life and dealing with trauma at the same time, it makes me, I'm even more inclined to just isolate, which I did this weekend for sure. And I woke up this morning and I felt terrible emotionally, like, oh my God, I screwed up again. I'm falling back, I'm regressing, all these panicky feelings came up. And I had to stop and think about what was going on. And because my executive function isn't great either, and my inclination is to panic about pretty much everything in my life, and that's not great for my blood pressure, and your health overall. It's just not good for it.
Yeah.
It's not to the degree it was before, but it's still definitely happening. And I realized today that I can learn to self-regulate, which I've never really considered until today. I've heard about it, I've certainly watched videos about it, but it never dawned on me this is controllable. Not 100% guarantee, but I'm still in survival mode for the most part, which is hard to admit because I'd like to think I made more progress than this. But the reality is, I'm still living in survival mode. My amygdala is probably still too large. I don't know if it shrinks after trauma. I don't know how that works. But my alerts are always on, pretty much, the majority of the time. And realizing this has been humbling, but also been extremely helpful because I've seen the pattern of how I start to isolate, which the panic and the constant panic and overreacting is the source of that. Because I want to give up. I want to disconnect. I don't want to deal with all these emotions. So wanting to isolate, the source of that is always panicking and then dealing with all these emotions all the time. Because I feel like I'm in this emotional state constantly.
Yeah.
So I've watched some videos today and I'm trying to learn how to self-regulate. And like I said, my executive function is not great either. It's really, really bad. So it's going to really take a lot of learning and patience and not getting upset with myself when I don't do it perfectly.
Right.
Because I also tend to believe I'm not good enough, which is a very normal traumatic belief or trauma-induced belief about oneself. My first step is to just pause. Because every video I talked about. Most videos I've watched today talked about that, about pausing before you react. But that's so, and I know enough to know that we're in control of our emotions, not the other way around. But it does feel like those triggers come out of nowhere. It really does feel that way, but I know that's not true. I have enough self-awareness to know I can pause if I need to. I have done it, not consistently, but I've done it and reparented or retrained my brain to understand that we're safe, where nothing's going to happen to us, nothing bad's going to happen, we're not in trouble. Let's just calm down. I've done that, but I didn't really have a name for it, which is kind of ironic. But since we talk about this stuff all the time,
Yeah. So, Rochelle, you're talking about, again, self-awareness and mindfulness. And the question was, how does this stuff fit into these ideas we have about what we can do to support our bodies, what we can do to support our minds? So it sounds to me like what you're saying is this tendency to isolate when you're struggling, when you're feeling overwhelmed, developing self-awareness, developing mindfulness about the fact that you feel overwhelmed, by the fact that you feel triggered, is a way to support your journey. Is that what you're saying?
yes, that's in changing behavior or learning to change behavior. Because I can't live in stress forever, constant stress forever. Like I can't put my body physically through that. I have so many digestive issues. It's not even funny. Like I know in fact, I may even have stomach pain right now. It's just a constant feeling of like nausea or stomach pain. And
As she demonstrates for us.
not intended, but yes, that's basically what's happening right now. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A little past in a second.
You can hold your microphone down a little bit, Rochelle. You don't need it that close.
All right. Anyways,
that's better.
But yes, to answer your question, that's what I'm talking about. Becoming aware of something in my life that's huge, but learning to, like you were saying earlier, to manage instead of just letting it happen, that can lead to better health overall, and physically and mentally and emotionally, I think, in all aspects.
Yeah. Something that helped me with mindfulness is actually exercising, because And I really want to have good form when I'm lifting. You know, because my trainer has me lifting heavy weight off the floor. I could basically pick Evelyn up off the floor.
Yep.
And a little more. But I've known people who've hurt themselves doing that kind of thing. So it's really important to me that I'm doing it correctly, that everything is aligned, that I'm pushing with the right parts of my body off the floor, and so on and so on. And I have my trainer there watching me.
Yeah.
And he's giving me feedback as I'm doing it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me think about what he's saying. Like scan my body. So if I'm lifting and he says something about my knees are too far inward, that I need to roll out on the outside of my foot and push my knees out a little bit, I have to think about my knees and my feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Being aware of where they are and where they need to be, kind of feeling that out.
Yeah. So that's a somatic experiencing kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's developing a mind-body connection. The more mind-body connection I have, the better I can get at being aware of the fact that I'm suddenly feeling physical panic sensations.
Yeah.
Which then helps me to do what I need to do to calm the panic down.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me, a couple of years ago, I woke in the middle of the night and I know it now that it was a panic attack, but I was just like, I was having trouble breathing. I could barely move. I like crawled over and I told my mom, I think we need to call 911. You know, I don't know what's going on. And I just was in this panic mode. And, you know, I'm in the ambulance and I'm starting to feel better. And I'm like, oh, crap. I think I overreacted. So I remember talking about, I think I talked to you, Steph, about it or something. You were like, that sounds like you had a panic attack. I didn't even know what a panic attack was. I thought I was legitimately in a health crisis, and I've been in health crises before, and it's felt similar. And of course, you're in a blind panic. You can't think straight necessarily. So I actually, trying to think of when it was, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little longer ago, I awoke with very similar situation going on. I could breathe okay and all, but still I felt panicked and my heart was racing and I was like, all right, I think I'm having a panic attack. All right, it's okay. You know, take some deep breaths. You know, okay. Doing the body scan and everything. Because, you know, if you're legitimately in a health crisis, you also don't want to minimize it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, what's really going on here? And I was able to settle my body down. And I thought, boy, this is a lot better than going to the hospital and getting all these tests and then getting sent home because nothing was wrong, you know?
Right. Yeah, my first panic attack, I was on my way to the urgent care and suddenly these physical sensations washed over my body. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And the urgent care treated me as a heart patient. They called an ambulance and sent me to Christiana. And then Christiana treated me like a heart patient until they were satisfied I wasn't. But nobody said to me the whole time, you're having a panic attack. I had to actually figure that out on my own. So after that, when it happens, I recognize the signs because the pressure in my chest, the feeling of my head being squeezed, heart racing, it feels like a crisis, a health crisis, but it's not.
Right.
And I had to develop the self-awareness to know the difference.
Right.
Like if I was actually having a cardiac event, that would probably feel different than panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even, you know, I had mentioned, I think it was last podcast, I had talked about when I had that lung collapse. You know, it took me a while to figure out, okay, because I have a lung condition, what is normal lung pain versus potential lung collapse? I mean, I had to ask all these questions and everything because you know, you don't want to estimate or underestimate necessarily what might be going on, you know. So I really
Yeah.
had to learn this is, you know, I was trying to remember what it felt like, you know, the lung collapse itself. And it was kind of, I don't know, it's very painful. And I was trying to remember that level of pain because there were several times when I was like, I was calling my lung doctor, can I come in and see you? You know, and he's like,
Right.
it's okay, you know. And I remember one time there was a snowstorm and I thought for sure I was having a lung collapse. My husband drove me in the snow just to find out that I was okay, you know. So becoming aware of what's real and what's not, you know, what's normal, what's within that range of normal and when to act and when not to. Because I also didn't want to neglect. So learning that, you know, the wisdom.
Yeah. I had an experience with my knee. I got a cortisone shot last year before last, and right before Thanksgiving. And they told me it would take about a week for it to settle down. I didn't expect, they didn't say anything about there being pain or any sort of pain or any sort of weirdness with how it moved or anything like that. And I had this intense joint pain and clicking and things going on for like 3 weeks. And I had no idea. I had no idea what to expect. I called the doctor's office and they said, well, this is normal. I said, no one told me this was normal when I got the shot. They did the shot and that was it. Like it was over with. They didn't tell me anything. I asked questions. They said, oh, it'll be fine. And it wasn't, I mean, it was fine eventually, but it was very painful. It was a very difficult adjustment. And I think part of health and wellness should be to create self awareness, should be to ask doctors questions. If you have some sort of thing you have going on and you don't know what's going to happen, and they can't guarantee it's going to be the same experience they're telling you, but they can at least give you some idea. I remember when my stepfather was in the hospital, he was very ill. He ended up being terminally ill, but excuse me, I asked the doctor so many questions, I think I annoyed them because I wanted to know what was happening with him. I didn't know anything about it, what was going on with him at the time. And that kind of taught me they don't want to really answer questions for reasons I don't really know. But information helps you become more self-aware, especially in a health crisis, like you're saying, Evelyn, about you don't know what normal pain is. You don't, because all you felt is this horrible lung collapse pain. So if you're having pain in your lungs, you don't know how bad it is until you know. Then if it's nothing serious, you can just, and you know it's not serious, you can just, okay, I'm fine. I don't need to go to the hospital. You got to, knowing the difference is so important, like having a panic attack versus having a heart attack. Knowing what the difference is and knowing why it's happening. It's really tough because, especially if you have trauma, because everything feels like a level 10 at first, at least, but it's not really a level 10 a good bit of the time.
Yeah. I feel like we're kind of meandering around a little bit. I want to take a moment
Agreed.
of self awareness and mindfulness here. But I think you guys are making some good points despite the meandering.
Yes.
We're just sort of, I feel like we're just sort of giving examples of times when we weren't that self-aware, maybe.
Yeah, I think that you're right.
But I think what's critical to understand is the point of what we're trying to say is when you have trauma, you aren't always aware of the triggering and the body memories and the emotional turmoil, the flashbacks, the whatever it is that's going on in the moment. You may not be aware that it's actually happening because this is normal for you.
Yeah.
Until as Rochelle said, you get enough information to recognize something that's happening, like panic attacks, for example. Like, I didn't know it was a panic attack right away. I had to figure that out on my own. And then I had to figure out how to work with it and be aware of the fact that it is panic. Like when I start having fluttering in my chest, for example, and I have a stomach ache, I have to stop and think about what I'm feeling in my body, compare it to what I know, and decide that it's probably just a panic attack and it'll be okay. I'm not having a heart attack or some other mystery illness that I've concocted in my head.
Right.
But, we want to create a situation for ourselves where mindfulness and self-awareness are the primary ways that we manage all the symptoms and create things for ourselves to help ourselves, get out of the panic or get out of the triggering or get out of the flashback or whatever it is that's going on. But also add in good things to our lives, which also requires mindfulness and self-awareness because, as we mentioned last week, there's a lot of self-sabotaging going on, because we may not think it's worth it to call the doctor about whatever. You have to be aware of the fact that you have this propensity for self-sabotage.
Oh, yeah.
In order
Yes.
to get over this hump of making the appointment to go see your doctor. So I think that's kind of where we are headed with this, even though we're kind of. Oh wait, the deet deet man, deet 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 deet.
Yeah.
That's a personal family thing. We call it the deet deet man. It's very ticklish.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I talked last week about dealing with shame and the struggle to not just put up with whatever I'm feeling too. So it's like the opposite end of things, where instead of overreacting, then underreacting and being aware that I'm doing it. Oh, I'm doing that thing. Like, why do I like, I'll start to think about, yeah, I should probably call my doctor. And then immediately, before I was self-aware, I, my mind would just automatically go to, let me find something else to do. Because for what, it was hard and scary to actually call.
Scary. Panic. Shut down.
Yeah, exactly. Or just go escape, do something, go clean something. Then I can feel like I'm still being productive. But then time goes by and it's not dealt with. So recognizing, okay, so I tend to do this. Now, what am I going to do differently? Because once you're aware, it's like, okay, I can't really get away with not dealing with it anymore because I've become aware. Now I'm responsible to do something different. And, we had talked about hypocrisy too. Like, here we are doing this podcast talking about health and wellness. If I'm continuing to procrastinate making an appointment, for example, while telling you guys, hey, you should go, make your appointments
with your doctor.
Well, then I'm being a hypocrite. And
made mine today for Monday. Next Monday.
Yeah. So, actually doing, okay, let me do the hard thing, whatever that may look like.
Yeah. So for your instance, supporting your health by going to your doctor starts with self-awareness about the fact that you have shame.
Yeah.
When it comes to seeing a doctor or making an appointment.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if anyone else can relate to this. This is something that used to always get me, and it's still kind of a thing, where time will have gone by and I'll think, oh, geez, it's been 2 years or 3 years or whatever since I've made a lung doctor appointment. I'm going to go in there and then they're going to say, why weren't you here before? And you could have, blah, blah, blah. Why did you wait so long? And what that would do is I'll kick in the shame, which made me afraid to make the appointment because I don't want the doctor to yell at me. And then more time goes by.
That's exactly what happened to me today.
What the heck are you doing, Evelyn?
Yeah.
But I've done
I
that,
think that's common.
Or not calling a friend for a long time and then not wanting to call because it's been so long.
Yeah. So if we go back to that process, Evelyn, that you mentioned, you think about your future forecasts, anxiety into the situation where you're going to be scolded by the doctor. and you don't want to feel more shame, so why would you bother making an appointment?
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't make an appointment, and then we're just
Yes.
repeating the cycle over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the way to break that cycle and to get into the doctor is to have the self-awareness to know that you're having the shame, and be mindful about the fact that this is going to be difficult, but you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened to me today. I was sitting in my car and I'm thinking to myself, I need to make a doctor's appointment. And I have done the exact thing you're talking about. Time's gone by. Didn't make the appointment. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I just got to do it. I got to get this started again. I got to get back to this. She's a good doctor. She'll help me, get all the tests done. It'll be okay. And she won't make me feel bad about it. It's fine. So I made the appointment. And even though I feel that shame you're talking about, this is the first time in a long time I didn't let it stop me from doing something important enough, like seeing the doctor, because, we're not getting any younger.
Mindfulness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mindfulness.
We're not getting any younger here. We're not getting any younger here, and it's important. And getting over that, if you can't get over the shame, at least putting it aside to do the right thing, I think is important.
Now that requires self-awareness and mindfulness.
Yeah.
We can't escape this paradigm.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Ah!
So we might as well accept it, embrace
Embrace
it,
it.
deal with it, manage it, learn how to manage it.
Learn how to manage this.
I'm going to write that. I'm going to put that on a post-it, manage, because that makes it doable.
Yeah.
It's so funny. When we talk about conquer, I see this little man with a suit of armor and a sword. We talk about manage. I see somebody like Dilbert with a necktie and a clipboard.
This whole concept just of managing things as opposed to overcoming things is still a new thing for me just today.
But it does make sense, though. It makes a lot of sense, because it makes it much easier to think about than trying to overcome things.
Yeah, because overcome just feels like, okay, now I've dealt with it. I won't have to deal with it again. I've overcome the thing. Because I was thinking today, I was actually managing something. I have a couple of pretty heavy stressor situations in my life. And I thought, well, what do I need to do today to make progress on this?
Yeah.
Neither case that I'm thinking of has to be solved today, but I can't procrastinate either. So instead of having an all or nothing mentality where I either overcome it or I don't do anything, I was working today on, I opened a document and just started to work on making some progress. And it feels like enough for today. I was able to manage the situation and make some progress, as opposed to scary, scary, scary. Let me escape to YouTube videos. I'll make them educational so I can justify it.
Yeah. Sounds like mindfulness and self-awareness.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well,
egregious podcast title drop.
There's that word again.
I'm using all the 50-cent words tonight.
I love
Ephemeral, egregious.
Oh, yeah. Keep it up. I love it.
I will instant out of heaven.
I love a well-chosen word. But I what's really cool about all of this is, while I love the escape, Rochelle talked about like isolating, and for me, if I could just sit in my bed and I can just get snuggly and maybe read a book, or and reading a book is good, right? Or get on my phone and do whatever. It feels good in the moment, but then afterwards it's like, ugh, I still have to deal with the thing. And then I feel guilty, because I wasn't giving myself a break because I needed a break. I was giving myself an escape because I didn't want to deal with the hard thing. And becoming aware of that yucky feeling and going, if I allow myself to run away from the thing I want to do, I'm going to feel yucky and I'm going to feel guilty. So what if I did something? What can I do?
Right.
And then there's that, hey, I did something. And it's just the opposite. It's like you feel it's hard in the moment, then you feel good afterwards. And
Yeah.
that for me, because I work pretty well with the carrot at the end of the stick, like, ooh, I want the good that comes, even though I might not like the path to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
But being mindful of that, though, and then being able to make a choice. So as they say, your future self can thank you.
Yeah. I feel like mindfulness and self-awareness can be even just normal everyday life. You don't have to have trauma for that to be a problem. I chronically am dehydrated because I forget to drink water. Yeah, I have this giant bottle that I carry around with me. Let's see if I can get it in here.
Yes.
There we go.
Yep.
64 ounces, half a gallon, right? And I do not ever feel thirsty, or rarely feel thirsty. Like, I have to be, like, if I'm just sitting around, I don't feel thirsty. Like, if I'm active and I'm doing something, I can get thirsty. But if I'm working on a computer, whatever, I don't get thirsty. Next thing I know, I'm dehydrated. And when I go get my blood test and urine test done every 3 months or whatever, my doctor's like, so you've been dehydrated. And like, right? And I struggle to be self-aware of the fact that I don't drink enough water. I take 2 pills that make me pee. And chronic dehydration is bad for my kidneys. Right? So I'm trying to find ways to remember to drink water. Like, I have this thing with me and I look at it and I'm like, pick it up and drink it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That again, executive functioning is a problem for me. So remembering to do things like drink water, eat food. If I'm working on a project, I forget to eat.
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
I'm diabetic, so I can't skip food. My blood sugars could drop too low and that's dangerous, that kind of thing. So, having self-awareness enough to recognize the patterns of forgetfulness on food and water.
Yeah.
Along with a bunch of other things. I was terrible at brushing my teeth for the longest time, and I didn't go to a dentist for 15 years. And then I just suddenly decided it was a good idea to go to the doctors because I was a little bit worried about my teeth falling out of my head. So I've been pretty consistently going to the dentist for a long time now, but it helps that my husband also goes. So we could just go together. Now I have my own dentist now, and I set the appointment at the time.
Right.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Next appointment set at the end of the one I'm in.
Yeah.
I had to develop the self-awareness to realize I had executive functioning problems.
Yeah.
And want to even try to change the dynamic to something better so that I'm supporting my health.
Yeah.
Because chronic dehydration is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not eating, bad. Not brushing your teeth, bad.
Bad.
So I think it's good to recognize that I think the beginning of the process, as we mentioned last week, is recognizing how you feel about yourself and developing some feelings of care for yourself. Then the next step, we think, is developing self-awareness and mindfulness about the problems that you experience, what you want to do to support yourself.
Are you summing up?
I don't know. Uh-oh. Dang. I do this every time.
Well, it's
accidental summing up.
Almost an hour, so
I know, but we usually go on longer. It feels like we've run out of things to say. Am I the only one that feels sad?
I mean,
no.
I think it's one of those topics where it's kind of self-explanatory in a way.
Okay. So I guess we'll make it official then.
And if there's any questions, comments, whatever, you can always pop them in the chat.
Yeah.
And we'll be happy to engage there.
Yes. So, step 1. I already mentioned this. care about yourself enough to want to support your own mental health and body.
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't have good feelings towards yourself, go to therapy. Get
Yeah.
some.
Yes.
Get some
Get
help.
some. Yeah, get some
Stop
help.
it.
And get some
help.
One of our favorite lines.
We fling that meme. Who is it? Michael Jordan?
Yes,
Yes.
Michael Jordan.
It's Michael Jordan in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, he's got this like suit jacket, tie.
Very serious. It's from a very serious video, but it is funny the way we use it.
Right. Well, it's because of stop using drugs.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
The
Yeah.
anti-drug campaigns from the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of them was "This is your brain on drugs," and it was fried eggs.
Yeah, I remember that from the 80s.
Yeah. Anyway, so we fling this at each other when we're sick, usually.
Yeah, stop it. Get
Stop
some
it.
help.
Get some help. Like, just stop being sick.
Fix it.
Why
But-
can't you stop being sick? What's wrong
Stop,
with you?
Just stop it. Get some help.
Stop it.
Jeez. Anyway, second step, the one we're talking about tonight, is developing self-awareness and
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
for a variety of reasons. One is to stop problems that you have and start good things that you don't have.
Yes.
And self-awareness is becoming aware of what's going on inside of you, how you're feeling, what your body is doing, what your mind is doing. Are you triggered? Are you panicking? Are you struggling to do the right thing? Are you addicted to something?
Yeah.
Starting something good is like the whole thing I mentioned about my pills. I'm diabetic. I have a bunch of pills I have to take every day. And also have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and GERD. So there's like several different pills that I have to take every day. And if I don't control my blood sugar with the pills, I could die, basically. There's an incentive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Yep.
However, it's easy for someone like me to not care enough to even bother taking the pills.
Right.
And I need to be self-aware about why that's even true. Why do I not care about myself?
Yeah.
Right.
That I don't even want to take my medication. But I want to start taking the medication, so I got to be aware of how I function.
Right.
I got to be mindful about how I go about. I know I give this like really convoluted process that I do to make sure I have all my pills every day, but it works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that requires mindfulness on my part to
Right.
have the process, to do the process, and to rely on the process when I can't remember if I have taken my pills. The empty box tells me, like, let's see. Okay. This was today's. I actually took all my medications. It's empty.
Good job.
Sometimes I forget my evening pills, but most of the time I remember. And I do this thing where I look at my husband, I do this and rattle them, and he does this. So I'm telling him and I'm telling me I'm taking my pills.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
That's very smart.
finding systems that work for you, whether it's setting an alarm, whether it's having accountability with other people, kind of like Steph and her husband, figuring out what works for you. I mean, I guess that's something we pretty much have to do our entire lives, sort of hack our own minds and figure
Pretty
out
much.
what
Be
works.
mindful about it.
What?
Take the time to figure it out, to be aware of
Yeah.
the struggle is raw.
So it is.
Another inside joke.
Yes.
Rochelle sometimes can't talk right.
Then we have
Or
to
type
teach her.
right. Human again.
And she said something about the struggle once.
It's really like the struggle.
And so Evelyn and I definitely took that to the
extreme.
absurdity.
Oh, that's I mean, that's how you show love.
Rochelle is humanigan and the struggle is raw.
Yes. Thanks to her her typing struggles.
Anyway, I feel like
Anyway.
we pretty much done what we need to do with this one, and we
Yep.
hope that you can hear what we're saying and hopefully agree with what we're saying, and we'll let it encourage you to develop self-awareness, hopefully with a therapist. But if you're not doing it through therapy, at least start to be aware. It's really hard to do on your own,
Mhm.
just saying. Self-awareness is really, really hard for a lot of people because that means being real about what you're
Mhm.
doing.
Yep.
Guilt, the shame, if you're doing something that's hurtful to yourself or to other people, it's hard to
Mhm.
face that.
Yeah.
Which is why it's helpful to have a therapist to help you gently work your way into facing reality and being real,
Yeah.
Yes.
Being honest.
Agreed.
being honest about what's going on. And then the mindfulness, of course, being the part where you're present in the moment, relating to whatever's going on inside of you or around you,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
not lost in thought or lost in dissociation or triggering or
Yes.
flashbacks or any number of things that you could possibly be lost in. So that comes out of self-awareness, and you can learn these techniques. They're all over the internet. Like if you ask Dr. Google, how do I
Dr.
develop
Google.
yeah, and how do I develop mindfulness? You'll find plenty of information,
Mm-hmm.
videos, articles, you name it, it's out there.
Yep.
Yep. And so we encourage you to look into that. And then we did secure possible 2 dates with my personal trainer, Mike. So we're gonna see when we can get him on. And we're going to continue to talk. I think we're going to start transitioning into talking specifically about things like exercise, diet, seeing your doctors, developing relationships in groups, community, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So we're gonna get very specific going forward now that we've sort of established our foundation.
Yes. Agreed. Good idea.
I'm always talking with my hands, but you guys can't actually see it. I'm always doing, and if I want to talk with my hands where you can see it, I have to do this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have anything we want to finish
Nope.
up with? No?
Just a dance.
Oh,
See
just
if we
the
can
dance.
see if we can get this organized this
Come
time.
Do it with us. Do it with us. Come on, if you're watching,
Push all the
fingers
buttons, do all the things.
push all the buttons,
Like, subscribe,
Subscribe, follow,
share.
well, follow,
comment.
subscribe.
You know what to do.
You
Tell
know
your
what
friends,
to do.
tell your family.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
If someone's name popped into your head, you think they might be helped by this, please share.
Yeah.
Share it with them. Yeah. We want to help people,
Yes, we do.
and we want to, help you guys develop self-awareness and other things. So share it.
Do
Dang
it.
Yes.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.
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 Thank you for joining us today. We hope you got some food for thought and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. See you next time. For more episodes, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Comment, like, and subscribe to spread the word and help the channel grow.